Hello, how's it going? I got a game here that says that I need to learn from it. So we shall review this game and see what I need to learn. So we're against Daytona Flyers, who we featured many times on this channel, because they are a really strong player. And we played a lot of games against them like 2 months ago, so this is an opportunity to see what we were up to. And we see a couple things in the tray. Moltoni and Mullard. Both really good birds. So you could justifiably keep keep all food here. So they've got 3 birds though, so that means they've got something better than Mallard, which is a bit spooky. You have Black-Headed Gull. I think you definitely always want to take Black-Headed Gull. I think this bird is a menace. Smew is pretty good for some supplemental cards. And, well, we've got Prairie Manager, so I'm thinking Redback Fairy Wren is not terrible. It's a very marginal call. I think with Black-Headed Gull, we can afford to be a little bit greedy in our food keep. In our card keep, sorry. We do not have good draw power with the Black-Headed Gull. Our advantage is that we get food when we draw, which is also very strong. So I think something like Fairy Wren, which hits Prairie Manager, is going to help with this end of round, because we can just lay an egg on it and qualify. Don't hate the decision. You could go either way on it, honestly. I would understand if you don't, and I would understand if you do. It's a very marginal call. Okay, both Mullard and Moltoni is gone, which makes absolute complete sense. And now we wait to see what they're going to do. First bird, Housefinch. Okay, that is a bit spooky. So they have insane card access between Mullard and whatchamacallit. Mullard and Housefinch, yeah. So we're just gonna take a cheeky Nectar. I don't know if taking that Nectar was such a good idea. I think it was because if I take... they don't have any food right now to take. And I know with Housefinch, they definitely want to be taking food here. So if I can get... I guess I was just thinking if I get an extra Nectar here, I can just improve my position a little bit. Very likely I'll be able to place Mew and just improve my chances of doing stuff, so... Yeah, Black-Headed Gull is a big mind games bird. Lots of things you think about and worry about. My opponent here, for instance, doesn't take Nectar. Which is a bit interesting. So we'll take this Little Bustard. Common Yellowthroat's a pretty good bird. But because my opponent hasn't taken any Nectar, I'm wondering if I just skip this. Yeah. Because sometimes players will take suboptimal food in the expectation that the Black-Headed Gull is going to rob them, and then they pick up a Nectar when the food gets stolen, which makes a lot of sense. Like, I mean, that's very natural that we're going to do. But sometimes they pick it up with the expectation that that's going to happen, and in fact rely on that happening to play another bird. So what if we don't take food? Maybe that's a wrong decision, I'm not sure. But we have done it nonetheless. Because they have Mullard, so they probably just want to play Mullard. Anyway, they take food again. So, as kind of we were hoping, we can indeed steal this Nectar, which is good for us. We do pick up Common Iora. Now, this bird is really interesting. Because on paper, this bird is insane. It's basically a chipping sparrow. In practice, I have a really bad win rate with this bird, so... Not really sure what's up with that, but it's a thing. My opponent is... Okay, so they wanted to get Moltoni into the game. Okay, makes sense. So they're hoping I was going to steal something and get Nectar. Okay. So yeah, we'll play this Iora. Iora, then probably play the Fairy Wren. The good news is this Little Bustard completes min bound on Prairie Manager, so that's nice. So we can, yeah, play Fairy Wren, might as well. And now what do we do? You could argue that laying eggs is good here. At some point you do want additional eggs with the Iora. Like, just one turn of eggs basically solves all of your egg problems. And they have Chipping Sparrow. Okay, well, they have an insane hand. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is really, really strong. I don't know about this. Yeah, this seems a bit dubious. Playing to deny Nectar. I guess I can see the argument, but... yeah, I don't know. This is that decision there was a bit iffy. I think there was definitely an argument to be laying eggs, or just taking food, or taking cards with Black-Headed Gull. They've gained food. Okay. Whoop. That's an interesting bug. Okay. We report the old bug in the middle of the game. Love that. Let's skip past the bug report. Restart Wingspan. Alright. That's funny. I didn't know the game bugged. Alright, we are winning this end of round. My opponent has no chance. So we can... and now we lay on the Fairy Wren. I don't know about that, man. I think we should have just laid and then drawn. So I'm going to criticize myself there. I think maybe not being completely heads up on how we were doing things there. I think... yeah, our opponent cannot qualify for the end of round. Like, there's no bird that allows him to qualify, as far as I'm aware. Easy. Alright, now our turn. And they played Mallard, which makes sense, because they want the stronger draw action. We were going to flip the tray, nothing super interesting here. Maybe a little Egret, but I think, again, not super interesting. Lappers, Wedge-tailed Eagle. I actually think Kinglet might be better here, but I think denying Lapwing makes a lot of sense. I think Lapwing and Moltoni work really well together, so... makes a bit of sense to just deny that, just in case. Even if we don't end up playing Lapwing, we can still do something with it. But Wedge-tailed Eagle, pretty good find. I think decently sized bird. Potentially scores a couple points here and there. Morning Dove has come up, by the way. So yeah, I think we're not getting Morning Dove. Yep, goodbye Morning Dove. But Black Crown Night Heron is still there, and I think Black Crown Night Heron is probably good enough to pick up. And we'll keep yoinking this food and giving away nectars, but that's okay. Black Crown Night Heron is very, very good. Nice big point bird. But I think we've got enough to get going. I think we've got aims of playing this Wedge-tailed Eagle. We can play this, whatchamacallit? Not Master Lapwing, the white-throated Kingfisher, that one. We can play Kingfisher, we can play Wedge-tailed Eagle, and we can kind of get things going. I think that's looking alright. We have very point-scoring heavy forest. My opponent's got this insane setup, by the way. 2 eggs plus card cycler. That is nuts. With Moltoni, mind you, so I mean, they're cooking. I actually don't know if that Morning Dove was necessary. I think they're probably going to end up with an excess of eggs now, and I think maybe Morning Dove was not the play, but we'll see how that turns out for them. Get Wedgie into the game. Wedgie is a very reliable not a reliable point scorer, but it's a good bird to be playing early. Try and get a couple hits on it. If you can get Wedgie to hit like once or twice, once is probably like par. If you can get it hit 3 times, it's like very overperforming. So we're pretty happy to play it now. It's not as good as the Great Horned Owl. I think Great Horned Owl is something that's better than that, but yeah, it's Wedgie. Wedgie also faces left, which is pretty good. Speaking of facing left, I think we also want to play a little Busted on this turn. Getting Busted into the game probably helps us in 2 ways. 1, it gives us an extra egg. 2, it's another beak facing left. And 3, it's going to give us a slightly better Grasslands action. Should we choose to use that? Ooh, Nectar's come up, so we can take some Nectar. I think that's totally acceptable. Wedgie misses, which is fine. Wedgie's only got like a 1 in 3 hit rate, so don't expect it to hit very often, but when it does hit, it hits. It hits real good. I think we can just play two birds here. I think we can play Kingfisher and Busted. That probably makes the most sense. Could argue that Smew makes a little bit of sense here as well, just to, you know, see if there are better options out there, maybe. But yeah, I think pretty clear. We're gonna get the other two birds into the game. I think that's pretty obvious. Wetland Scientist, that's okay. We have Black Crown Night here, and we just need one more bird to get minimum bound on that, so that's pretty alright. So yeah, the question is, do we want to play Smew, or do we want to play the Kingfisher? I think you probably want to play Smew. Sorry, Kingfisher here. I think I could go either way on this, but I think I would prefer to play Kingfisher. Take food, play Smew, if that's the world that we're ending up in. Yeah, I think that's acceptable. Oh, we're gonna go Smew, okay. Okay, I don't hate it. I do not like the white-throated Kingfisher. I think the bird's pretty average. What are we gonna keep here? I mean, we're gonna have to keep Kite and Goose. Everything else is useless. It's not like Goose is particularly good in this game anyway, but it is a Wetland Scientist bird, so Goose, Night Heron, we're sorted there. The Kite could give us a few extra eggs, maybe. Yeah. Frogmouth for my opponent. It makes sense. So yeah, not a lot of bird points, and I guess this is like one issue of playing these low point birds. They don't have a lot of bird points. However, they do have a killer engine going, so they can very likely score pretty well. But we're doing good on these ends of rounds, though the next ends of round might be a little bit more difficult. Bluebird into Vulture. Love Vulture. It means we have to start thinking about our own bonus cards and what do we keep, what do we not keep. They are kind of destroying us on Nectar, so that could be a cause for concern. I don't think it's a cause for panic. It's definitely a cause for concern. I think we really want to be playing 2 Nectar into the forest minimum on this turn. Just so we can get ahead of this Frogmouth. So we can get ahead on column 4. Yeah, definitely got to think about that. We're going to lay eggs. I think laying eggs makes a lot of sense. We need to lay eggs at least once. Just to be able to afford these high column birds. Totally fine. We also don't really want to take food either, because like I said, we really want to spend 2 Nectar minimum into our forest on this next action. And yeah, the feeder is pretty terrible. But Frogmouth's going to reset it if it hasn't already. Okay, the Frogmouth reset into 2 Nectar. Brilliant. Wasting 1 turn made our lives very nice. Mandarin Duck, we got a hit. There you go, Wedgie. Well done, buddy. Yeah, we're gonna play... I mean, I don't want to play this Kingfisher, but I think it's the correct choice. We should be... Yeah. Yeah, this Kingfisher might be a problem, but I don't know what else we do here. Do you do... our food production is really bad. Common Cuckoo, okay. That very much looks like an Ethologist play. Different colored birds in a row. There's an 8-point Ethologist, most likely. Yeah, I don't like playing this Kingfisher. I don't like it. Do we have a choice? I don't know. But I don't like playing it. It's only going to get like 2 activations. It's a 1-point bird. It did swing the Nectar, which is, you know, important. But it is only a 1-point bird. I almost feel like we should have done food Night Heron and then flip the tray. And kind of utilized our Black-Headed Gull to make up the food problem. Actually, I think that is the correct play. To use this Black-Headed Gull more. I think that could have been smart. But nevertheless, I think we take food and then we play... Oh, we're gonna go Goose, are we? I don't know. Alright, I'm a big fan of stopping at 2 on Kingfisher. So if you look at the probability sheet, the white-throated Kingfisher has an expected value of 2. Sorry, if you run there's basically a bunch of different strategies you can run with the Kingfisher. And if you roll 3 times, the expected value is 2. Or like, no, sorry, that's not, the EV is not 2. What is it? What I'm trying to say is the expected value of rolling 3 times is the same as the expected value of rolling twice. So I feel like rolling twice is better than rolling 3 times because you get a more consistent spread of scores rather than just an expected value of scores to be the same. So on Kingfisher, I prefer consistency over scoring potential. Alright, what are we gonna do now? So yeah, I think we draw and we just really hope we find something good here. They've taken a bunch of nectar, which is always a bit of a concern, so we'll get rid of this fruit. And we find Phil. Not really the bird I want to play at this point of the game. I'm not sure why I mean, I know why we're keeping Phil, but I don't know why we're keeping Phil. Like, we're never playing him. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's all a bit awkward. I just feel like these turns should be inverted. Imagine if instead of Kingfisher we had Phil. I think that's probably our big learning experience here. I think we definitely did something wrong with the sequencing. Oh, and they've gone Kia into the forest. Okay, that's rude. That is indeed rude. Doesn't mean we can win the forest nectar though, so that's okay, I guess. What else do we do though? We're kind of screwed. Yeah, I was gonna say we don't have very good options. So I definitely understand drawing. No nectar, are you kidding me? Oh, that is very annoying. That's very annoying. Now what? We definitely want to play Greylag, but like... Taking food again does not feel good. But I think we have to. I can't see a way around this. I think we just have to do food again. Like, we need the nectar. The nectar is the only thing that makes Phil make sense. You could draw with Night Heron and take nectar, getting rid of an egg, but... I'm not sure we have enough eggs to finish the game if we do that. Maybe Black-Headed Gull can yoink something for us. Maybe that's the play here. Yeah, okay, we are going to do that. Busted, okay. I don't really have time to play the Busted, though, so that's a bit of an issue. Was Aussie Magpie? I can see the reasoning for Aussie Magpie. The logic was basically, we are going to go for Prairie Manager and max that out, but I don't think I can afford that. If I take a food here, if I burned a egg for a nectar, played the kite, and then played Indian Busted, it kind of works. But I also want to play Grey-Leg Goose. This is a tricky situation now. What do I want to do? Just yeah, it looks like I'm gonna blank, which is okay. I think this is probably correct. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this play at all, but I think you have to. Yeah. Yeah, in goes the kite. Which does flip the grasslands nectar, so we at least get one nectar habitat win. Yeah. Definitely a few things I would do differently. I think this Kingfisher, while it has actually performed alright, I think the timing for it was when we played Smew and not Kingfisher. And then I also think that the Night Heron timing was also wrong in this game. We should have done Night Heron before Kingfisher, done the draw, and then played Kingfisher. Because I think doing the Heron so late kind of left us a little bit concerned. What are we doing? Hello? Why aren't we just playing Indian Busted? What am I thinking about? Like, I mean, Grey Lag versus Indian Busted is not even close. Like, you play Indian Busted every day of the week. Oh, we're going to go for Nectar. Yeah, I'm not so sure what I was thinking there. I mean, it would have been Black-Shouldered Kite. Like, I'm probably thinking, oh, my opponent can win the Nectar and the Grasslands, so let's get Nectar to protect the habitat. That's an odd decision, as far as I'm concerned. Well, we get our 8 caches from Prairie Manager, which is nice. I do wonder if there was another way to do that. Like, laying eggs, getting maybe the extra 3 on the kite. That could have been huge. And of course, Kingfisher and Wedgie both missing. Not ideal. We are basically one turn short of being able to do the stuff that we wanted to do as well. The score is not good, by the way. Kiwi. Good last play. That is a very good last play. I wish I had that kind of utility. Get to play Kiwi. We get a 1 Fairy Wren egg, which is fine. I mean, we played that for a couple of reasons. It paid out. Like, I mean, it was useful for Prairie Manager. It got us an EOR win. We'll take that. And we got annihilated. I must have been pretty mad. It's actually closer than I think it was what it's supposed to be. My opponent only getting 108 is very interesting. Let's have a look at their board. Grassland Ranger for 3, sure. ESP for 9, okay, that's good. Ethologist for 8, as expected, and they stole my Prairie Manager for 3. Alright, well played, Daytona. You beat me. But 108 is also not a very good score, so I think if you are the guy who's got, like, where's the... Whoops, I started it again. Where is his board? This is my board. If you were the guy who's got Housefinch, Chipping Sparrow, Mourning Dove, and Meltoni, I think you expect to score a little bit more than 108. Right? So, I think, not that Daytona asked for feedback or anything, but I think this Morning Dove was a mistake. I think you can see they've got so many extra eggs here. I think this being a 0-point bird, like, how many times did they take food? This was probably only worth about 6 or 7 points over the course of the game, and the eggs didn't help with tempo at all, so... maybe they did help here or there, but... I think Moltoni... Like, when people think... I think people don't realize that these teal-plain other birds are effectively an alternate egg source, because you consistently are getting 2 to 3 to 4 eggs per turn when you use this habitat as a condition for Moltoni. So having a double egg layer in the forest is not such a necessity. Definitely having one helps. I just think 2 is maybe a little bit excessive. And then as a consequence, they've spent half their board, a little under half, no, even half their board on birds that are worth less than 3, and I think that's kind of where they were missing points. If this was like a 5-point bird and this was like a 3-point bird or something, that's another 8 points between these two maybe. Plus whatever powers they happen to have. So maybe they just didn't have options. I don't know, but that's why I think they didn't score as well as they should have. Why didn't we score as well as we should have? Well, I think... Okay, so Iora... Where did I lose things? I think... Okay. You can argue here... is taking Nectar here the right decision? I think yes. I think taking the Nectar here is fine. I don't know if it's right, but it's not wrong to take the Nectar. Especially since we know our opponent is like, yeah, doing what they're doing. So I think that's fine. I think maybe this decision here to skip taking a food here, maybe this one was a bit more problematic. I think, I don't think it cost me the game, but maybe I was just thinking a little bit too metagamey here. It would have sucked to give away a Nectar to my opponent, but if I take... I know they've got Moltoni. I know this is not Moltoni food. If they want to play Mallard, they can. If I take this worm and they grab a Nectar, like, okay. Then they're incentivized to get rid of that Nectar as fast as possible by playing it down here, and I know they can only use the Mallard to do that. Which may be not what they wanted to do this game. So maybe I was a little bit in my head about that, but again, I don't think that was game deciding. I think first mistake is definitely here. I think on this turn... Alright, shipping Sparrow into the game, blah 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 blah. On this turn, I think taking food here is a mistake. I think we have no reason to take food, because if we take food, the intent is to then play a bird, because Iora allows us to take food and then play bird. But we can't do that, right? Because if we do that, then we lose the end of round. So if we can't take food, lay an egg, get a play a bird, what's the next best thing? Lay eggs. Or just take food. Or take cards. And I think, if I recall correctly, they have one rat at the moment. Like, we just lay eggs on this turn. I think we just lay eggs. So our opponent, I think, takes food here. Because they need the food. Yeah, they gain food. And okay, sure, maybe we give away another Nectar, but... You know, I think, I don't think, I don't think it's wrong for me to take cards here with Black-Headed Gull. And just do something with that. But okay, that's fine. Given that we did that, we do the correct thing to flip the tray. Lapwing, maybe you could argue that's a little bit dubious to be taking. Maybe the Kinglet is the better play here. Just something to accelerate our forest development. We don't have a lot of forest birds. We could very easily do Kinglet into Kingfisher, into Wedgie. That would be an alright sequence of events, but... Okay, I think you can defend the Lapwing. It's a very good denial play, because my opponent is a little bit short on food. So now we're deep into round 2, and I think from here, things are pretty much on rails. You just play through the things as you can. Smew over White-Throated Kingfisher, definitely this here is a decision. I know what I was thinking. I'm thinking White-Throated Kingfisher is just not that good as a bird. On average in my experience. And I kind of want to find something better. What can I find that is a better bird? Like, there's a laundry list of better birds. Prothonotary Warbler. Anything worth 7 points or more is probably worth playing over the Kingfisher. So we go hunting for one of those. We find absolutely nothing. And we call it there. Okay. So now we get into round 3, and this is where I think things go wrong. So I think, okay, laying eggs is fine. I think we have to do that. This is good. And now I think here is the next mistake. I think here we should be throwing this common yellow throat just down here. Just throw that away. Grab this worm, and then play our Night Heron. I think the Night Heron just needs to be in this game. And I understand the temptation to play this Kingfisher. But I think we do Night Heron, draw. We've got 5 eggs. So Night Heron, draw. Turn these into nectar. And just, like, figure out a better bird to be playing in our forest or something like that. I think that's just where we need to be at the moment. Because then, if instead of, like, this turn here being, or the previous turn being this turn here, sorry. This turn here being a food turn, it could have been a draw turn. And maybe we could have found something better. But nevertheless, we go drawing. And then at this point, like, Phil is best of a bunch of bad options, probably. Blah, 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 blah. And then we just have to make some difficult in-game decisions to get through Greater Indian Bustard. Like, I think, again, Indian Bustard over Grey-Lag Goose, very defensible. Good for the end of round. Good in terms of points, but I think ultimately, again, not enough. We just kind of ran out of time. And I think, you know, the culmination of all those mistakes is just like, this bird just shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. Like, you didn't get here fast enough. If we had done Night Heron and found Phil, we could have done the Nectar thing, played Phil, and had 2 shots at getting a bonus card. And at worst, we're like 1 point worse off than this Kingfisher. But I think, yeah. I don't know. I think this is a useful game to review, I think. You know, just because you've got alternate egg access doesn't mean you win the game. You do need the big cards to be playing. You need to be able to get them down in the right order to be able to do that. And I think sometimes when you're in this kind of weird mid-game state, like this is a weird mid-game state, like, I don't know. You could actually make a pretty solid argument to be playing Night Heron right now, actually. Now that I look at things. Play Night Heron, and that gives you a little bit of flexibility to basically look at a couple more cards and just build a better game plan. Actually, maybe that's even better than what I did with the Smew. I mean, I think that's probably hindsight talking, because I think Smew is working towards something better in the forest, and you definitely want to have like this space filled out in this kind of game. So getting to that spot is pretty important. We just don't have the right bird go there. So if we did Night Heron, it's a bit tough, right? Like if you did Night Heron, then draw. You get a whole bunch of non-nectar food, so you can probably force down something else here later on. Maybe that is okay. I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think probably Smew and Little Bustard was probably the correct choices here ultimately. So, oh well, that's this game. Definitely things to be learning and thinking about. Like, I think, you know, where would I have done something differently? I don't know. I mean, I've gone over the kind of areas that were difficult, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out where it goes wrong. Was it chasing the end of round with this fairy wren? I kind of refuse to believe that's the case. Maybe it is. But it's this Iora, right? The Iora is... I don't know why this bird is just so much worse than Chipping Sparrow. I don't understand. Maybe you should have drawn twice. We did draw twice. What am I talking about? Maybe we should have drawn again. I don't know. Alright, we're getting too in the weeds on this, but... Alright. Interesting game. Bad game. Something that we should definitely be learning from. So, I'm glad we reviewed it. I think these are the kinds of games where it's like very easily decidable one way or the other with like slightly better play. And yeah, we got. So things to think about, things to ponder. ways we could have played this game better, and I think if we can take these learnings through, we can probably play a bit better in the future. So I don't know if you enjoyed that. It was basically just me just rambling to myself for a while, but that how things be in the world of Wingspan. So all right, there's a cool game coming up next, I think, and then we'll probably get into some tournament stuff. There's some very, very fun tournament games on the way, so no spoilers, but hopefully you'll all enjoy those. Right, we'll see you there.